You opened it, and there was food. I don't know where it came from, because I never bought it. She had these magical lights. She turned them on. I never gave her a penny for any of those things. And the sad thing is, I'm kind of giving you the cold equation here. But if you had met me, you would have said what a nice guy I was. And I was. Most addicts are good-intentioned people. We're just sick. My operating basis in life, every minute, was what can I say to do to feel better? And as a result, I would change the people around me. So why do families wait? Very much like Christine's, I could tell you this story about, I'm going to change her name, Jane. I had to show up at Jane's house. She had a 23-year-old son, very similar situation, methamphetamine. I didn't realize that I would find myself in her garage with her family hiding behind their deep freezer as her son is coming to kill us as a result of an intervention that he didn't think went all that well. Methamphetamine. Now, she had signs years before, so why did she wait until her son was violent? Why did she wait until he was half insane to do this intervention? There's plenty of signs. I received a call a week ago from a woman by the name of Helen. And Helen said, you know, I contacted your company about 4 months ago in regards to my grandson who used to be addicted to heroin. And I said, used to be addicted to heroin? And she said, yeah, unfortunately his funeral's tomorrow. But you had spoken to his father, and the father decided not to do an intervention. So I would like to do an intervention on him for his alcohol. And I hate when I get those calls. And I remembered who she was. And I remembered the story. And the story went along like this. The father had contacted us and had said, I just realized that my son is on heroin. I had no idea. He's a good kid. He's in sports, things like that. I had no idea he was on heroin. And how I found out is that I walk in and I found him blue on the bathroom floor. So I called the paramedics and they showed up and they shoot him up on Narcan, which is an opiate blocker, and adrenaline. They brought him back to life. My son is in the ER. He's in the ICU. I'm going to come back there and see him. What do I do? So I talked to him for about an hour. And I explained the problem isn't the drugs. The problem is how he deals, or most importantly, chooses not to deal with life. The drugs are one of many symptoms. There's a lot more things going on. I like it. I'd like to talk to you again, but I need to go see my son. It's Friday. Saturday, I don't hear from him. Sunday, I call him. You know, thanks for calling back. But I don't think we need to do an intervention, and I don't think we need to get him into treatment. Why is that, I say? He says, I had a long talk with my son, and he's learned his lesson. You know, his son was flatlined. He was dead. He was dead and brought back to life. His son learned his lesson as a result of that. And he looked me in the eye, he said, I swear, Dad, I'll never do it again. And 3 months later, they're having his funeral. So why did that family wait? Why would you wait? Why would you wait to get your son into treatment, or your daughter, your mom, or your dad? Why would you wait? I'm giving you the scare stories, but the stories are all pretty much the same. You know, whether your loved one, you find him dead on the bathroom floor, or whether he does the long goodbye. Most drug addicts don't overdose and die. Most alcoholics don't. Most of them just fade away. The spark that used to be them will slowly flicker away and die. You know, the person on the inside goes away long before that body goes out. And that's even harder. If Christine's son had not chosen treatment, you would have been lucky if he had died. Because with methamphetamine, sooner or later you go crazy, sometimes permanently, like I did. Why do these families wait? Why do they wait, you know? I don't know how many years ago it was. About 12 years ago, I was in a meth psychosis. I was addicted to everything. So there was a period I was on methamphetamine. It seemed like a great idea. When you use enough meth, sooner or later you start to become neurotic, kind of like bipolar. I was up and down, up and down. I was agitated. I was on top of the world and down, on top of the world and down. If you use enough of it, sooner or later you become psychotic. I was hearing auditory hallucinations, seeing visual hallucinations. I was connecting patterns that weren't there. I was convinced that there was a conspiracy against me involving government agencies, and people, and even my own family. So I was in this hotel, and I was using drugs, and I was on about a 5-day binge. By the 3rd day, the television's talking to me. Now, if you're on a drug binge and the television starts talking to you by the third day, it's probably going to be a bad time, you know. But I can't stop. Once you start, you got to finish. When the television starts talking to you, it's usually saying bad things. It's not saying, hey, you're a wonderful guy. Because what happens with methamphetamine is whatever your deepest, darkest things are, your fears, your insecurities, your guilt, that layer that separates the subconscious from the conscious disappears and everything comes out. And it'll project it into the world around you. If you think you are a terrible human being deep inside, because of the stealing, and the lies, and the guilt, and the shame, it'll project it out in the world around you. Sometimes in the form of snipers, sometimes in the form of people that are about to kill you, sometimes in the form of the DEA. The television informed me that the drug dealers had kidnapped my girlfriend, and they had killed her, and they were on their way to kill my family. So I knocked out the drug dealers, and I kicked down the door of the motel clerk and held him at knife point because I thought he was in on the conspiracy. Well, I contacted the police. And when the police showed up, I looked at his gun because I knew that he wasn't a cop. I knew that he was a hitman coming from the drug dealers. He was a part of the conspiracy. He was a big guy. And I'm not a big guy. I'm looking at his gun, and I'm looking at him. And I'm thinking, this hitman's going to kill me. And I was this close to taking it. That was a bad day. That's what methamphetamine took me. And I would love to tell you that was the last time, but it wasn't. A bad time isn't enough for a guy like me. Why is a bad time not enough? There's a difference between being at the bottom and feeling the bottom. I was surrounded in a system, including my family and my friends, that provided the most amount of comfort for me, that allowed me to continue doing what I was doing. I believe I was crashed out on their couch probably 2 days after that. Surrounded in love, surrounded in attention, surrounded in caring. You know? Why do families wait? Why did my family wait? My family waited, and every single family waits because I taught them to wait. That's why. My family, like every other family, is stuck between hope and fear. The hope that I sold them that tomorrow will be a better day. Every family member connected to somebody that is addicted to drugs has the hope, because that's what you want. You don't want it to be chaotic anymore. You want it to be different. You'll give anything to make it different, even compromise your own integrity and belief system, as did my family. And I sold them the hope. I don't want to be like this, Mom. You think I do? I want to get off this stuff. I don't want to be like this. I want to have a white picket fence and a good wife and a job and a car. I want to be like this. I sold them the message of hope. My family was stuck between hope and fear. I also sold them fear. The fear was that if they pushed me too hard, they would never see me again. I would go off into the ghetto, get shot by a drug dealer, or go off and be a prostitute or something. I planted the seeds of fear so heavily in my mother that she knew if she kicked me out, she would never ever see me again. Many times we talk to families, and the first thing they say is, I don't want to do an intervention because I don't want to upset them. It's like upset them. How amazing are we as drug addicts that I can create this idea that if you come knocking on my door with a gift of recovery and a gift of life or spirituality, whatever it is, I say, I want to help you. I can convince you that if you knock on that door, it'll make me upset. I don't do it. You know, how interesting is that? Mom, I've decided I'm going to go kill myself in the bathroom, but don't call the police. Don't want to upset them. That's what it was like for me. You know, I had my family stuck between hope and fear. I taught my family to wait. And many families do. If you walk in any bad neighborhood, red light district, Skid Row. I lived in Skid Row in San Diego, California for a while. I lived along a little train track. There was a bunch of us on little mats and things like that. And we all had a story.